What are you doing? So, hello everyone. Welcome back. Sorry it's been a while. Hey! I kind of lost my confidence after the last two videos I did. You can probably tell if you've watched them that it was very uncomfortable, I guess. It didn't feel right, didn't feel natural. Very scripted and awkward. So I thought I'd try again, but with this whole vlogging kind of format. There's a random mannequin in a mankini. Right. Okay. So, Ralph and I are just off to one of his favourite walking spots. Hey, fuck! Hey, cats and dogs! And I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a little bit of vlogging, try it out for the first time. So I thought today we'd talk about my Tourette's story, really. When I was diagnosed with the condition, how it developed, what it was like growing up with it, those kind of things. Hey Ralph, you good boy? So when we get to where we're going, we'll start all of that. Right, made it to Ralph's favourite walking spot. Where is he? He's over there. So, my Tourette's story. I wasn't actually diagnosed with Tourette's officially until 2012. I got a dual diagnosis of Tourette Syndrome, hey, cats and dogs, with autistic trait. But my tics actually started, we think, when I was around 3 years old. My first conscious memory is actually of my third birthday. And I remember vividly a tic. My mum tried to hand me a birthday card and I couldn't hold it. I kept kind of throwing it down. I wanted to hold on to it. I remember definitely I wanted to hold on to it, but I couldn't. And inside I was feeling really quite anxious, upset, because I wanted that card. And I didn't know why I couldn't hold on to it. What are you doing, Ralph? Leave it alone. Go on. But besides that, I didn't really have any major tics. It was the usual, very stereotypical, excessive sniffing and blinking, and that was about it, really, for a few years. And then, as I went into primary school, it started to develop a little bit. I would occasionally have random words come out. I was speaking to my mum earlier, and she remembers me. I would be walking through the house upstairs or helping her with something, and just suddenly come out with a random word. Donkey, for example. I remember saying that a few times. And then I would apologise for it afterwards. I think that was just me trying to hide it. I spoke to my mum about it earlier, and she thinks that it was, well, they thought at the time that it was just little bits of my imagination, so I was acting out a scenario in my head, and it would just come out at the time, and so they didn't think anything of it. Obviously now I'm 26, 27. I actually forget how old I am. Obviously we know what it was, but at the time they weren't particularly worried. Primary school wise, it was a little bit up and down, a little bit ropey at times. Obviously these words would come out whilst I was at school as well, and people just thought that was weird. I quite often found myself isolated, by myself at break times. I didn't have many friends, and as my tics got gradually worse, the few friends I did have, or some of them decided to abandon me, I guess, dissociate themselves with me, move away. That I found quite difficult. I mean, I have autism as well. I mean, I'm not particularly fond of talking to people, so I struggle to make friends as it is. So I think losing the few friends I did have was an upsetting time, I think. And then as school went on, I eventually moved away from primary school, and I went to boarding school for 6 years, I think. That seems right in my head. While I was there, my first boarding school, my prep school, that was all right. There were a few issues with some of the older pupils when I first arrived. As I moved up through the years, I actually managed to make some good friends that I still keep in touch with. So that was nice. Tourette's wise, it wasn't too bad. I found I developed the ability to suppress my major tics. Cats and dogs. My smaller tics like the blinking and the sniffing, in the summer I just blame it on hay fever. In the winter I just say that I had a cold. So I found that quite easy to hide, I guess. What are you doing, Ralph? Good boy, go on then. Good boy. But my second boarding school, that I found difficult. When I arrived there, people knew I was different straight away. They found that I couldn't control a lot of my larger tics. Some things would come out, my tics became more developed, more complex. So rather than just words, it becomes sentences. I come from a military family. My father served 30 years in the Royal Air Force. And while I was at boarding school, my tics obviously became more complex. One of them being my dad fights helicopters over Everest. That was one of my tics. Some of the boys in my boarding house picked up on that one. And from then on considered me a liar. Obviously, I didn't feel I could tell anyone what was actually happening, that I was saying things I couldn't stop, I couldn't control. So they picked up on that and ridiculed me at every opportunity they got. So my second boarding school was, well, there's no other way to put it really. It was hell. It was living hell. I tried as much as I could to concentrate on my studies. that helped a little bit, but I'd be in my study bedroom, trying to do my homework, my prep, and they'd be hammering on the door outside, mocking me, calling me names, sliding notes under my door if I wouldn't answer the door, generally making life a misery. Hey, fuck! Hey! Thank you, Ralph. Good boy. You're not working. It's fine. Go on. I'm okay. I came away with some good qualifications. I mean, my GCSEs, I got two A stars, 4 A's, 3 B's, so proud of that. I did pretty well considering what was going on at school at the time. And then I left there. I didn't want to stay for sixth form at that school. I couldn't face 2 more years of constant mocking and bullying, I guess. So I left. I applied to college to study public services, which in the UK is a course for people that are looking at joining a public service, so prison service, the military, police, fire, ambulance, that kind of thing. It's very community orientated. I enjoyed the course. I loved the course. And my tics were fairly settled. I didn't have too many problems. I was there for 3 years total. My public services course was 2 years, and then I started a degree course there, but I didn't stay for the remaining year of that. So my tics were fairly settled. It was going all right. Good boy, Ralph. Until January 2012. And then things spiraled. As part of my course, we actually every year in January went on a ski trip to Italy. Snow sports, teamwork, outdoor and adventurous activities was the name of the module of the course. And I love skiing. I've been skiing since I was 2 years old. But 3 days before we went to get on the coach to travel to Italy, 3 days beforehand, I woke up in the morning and I found I could not stop ticking. And it wasn't stuff I could hide. It was head jerking. It was coprolalics, so swearing, inappropriate gestures, inappropriate use of language, and I felt like I just wanted to give up, to be honest. I felt like there was no point going on the trip, no point going anywhere. But my partner at the time, she had noticed my tics. She was immensely supportive, as were a few others. I did my best to suppress throughout the week we were in Italy skiing. Spent most of the evenings very, very drunk. That seemed to help. Not saying that you should make a habit of drinking to help with tics. And then when we came home, it hadn't settled, it hadn't died down. So I went to my GP, my general practitioner. If you're in the States, that'd be your family doctor. Up until then, I hadn't really wanted a diagnosis. I didn't want to be labelled. I didn't want to be categorised as having a problem, having a disorder, being abnormal. Because of the autism side of things, I've always been very anxious about being judged by people. I don't like attention being brought to me, which is ironic now, considering I have a condition which means people are going to stare at me. I shout, "Hey!" like that. If you're in a supermarket and you do that, people are going to stare. Your attention is going to be drawn to you whether you like it or not. And I still find that difficult to deal with. So I went to my GP. I explained to them what's going on. I cried a lot in that 15-minute appointment. I don't think I stopped crying. I told him I'd had enough. I didn't generally want to be I didn't want to be living, to be honest. Not able to control my own body. I sort of gave up. And he said to me, I remember him putting his arm on my shoulder, around my shoulder, and saying that I can't say I know what it's like to be in your position, because I don't, but I know what's going on. And he turned the computer screen round and read through the symptoms and diagnostic thresholds for Tourette Syndrome. And instantly it all made sense. It was obviously what I'd been living with since the age of 3. And he referred me there and then to a consultant neurologist at the local general hospital. Within 6 weeks I'd had my appointment there. And that was it. For a lot of people, especially children, the process of diagnosing Tourette syndrome can be long, drawn out, and very strenuous, very stressful, should I say. But for me, that one appointment with a consultant neurologist, I was so anxious about the appointment that I was ticking a lot anyway. That he diagnosed me there and then. And within a week after that appointment, I had my diagnosis letter through. Because I had the confirmed diagnosis, I was then able to get an ID card from Tourette's Action, which is a charity here in the UK for people with Tourette syndrome, confirming that I had the disorder. This, although it doesn't help with the actual symptoms, if you're ever confronted by people, for example, security guards in shops, etc., you have something then that can prove your diagnosis, which can help. Hey! Hey, fuck! Hey, cats and dogs. It's okay, Ralph, you're not working, but thank you for coming. Good boy. Go on, have fun. Yeah, and then I could access support groups. I kind of threw myself into the online Tourette's community on Facebook. I went to a couple of meetups with my parents. They were semi-shocked, I think. I didn't actually tell my parents what was going on from the age of 3 all the way up till 17, age 17, I think. What was going on, what I was experiencing, etc. Like I said, because I get so anxious about what people will think of me, even though they're my own parents, and I know that obviously they love me and support me, but the anxiety was still there, so I didn't tell them. The first time I told them what was going on is when I had my diagnosis. Yeah, that's pretty much the story. Since then, it's been up and down. I've had some bad experiences, but I've had some very good ones. I've met a lot of people who I'm honoured to call my friends now, because I have this disorder. I guess life is what you make it. I think I know it's hard sometimes to deal with in the moment, but I think it's important to remember that it is a varying condition. You know, sometimes it may be way up here in terms terms of severity, sometimes it'll be down there somewhere. It varies from day to day, so make the most of each day. Try not to worry about what other people think of you, and just live your life how you want to live it, as best you can live it, I guess. To any parents out there who've got children going through the process of diagnosis at the moment, it's long in children, and it's long for good reason. They like to rule out any other disorders, especially with neurology, because your brain is still developing. So stick with it. Make video diaries, keep a written diary of day-to-day tics, what's happening, whether they're getting worse, whether they're getting better, any significant breaks, any significant episodes of severe symptoms. Show that to your neurologist or your GP, and keep going. I know it's not an easy road for you, but it's worth it. It's worth it in the end. Once you've got your diagnosis and you can say this is what's going on, then you can put in place methods of coping with it better. So yeah, there we go. Hopefully that's been some help, a little bit of an insight into my story. See you again. I just thought I'd say, because I completely forgot, my memory's not the best. If you'd like to join me on my journey, learn more about Tourette's, autism, mental health in general, and see what life's like to live with it, see what I get up to. Yes, I know. Then please do hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click the little bell next to it, because that will tell you when I've uploaded new videos, etc. And come and join us. It'd be great to have you along. Bye.